Meanwhile, Iraq's top Shia religious authority, Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, has once again called on all Iraqis to confront the ISIL terrorist group. In a statement read out by his representative in the city of Karbala, Ayatollah Sistani noted that all political factions in Iraq have agreed on the need to form a, quote, proper government. Sistani also expressed concern over the plight of about 18,000 people who are surrounded by ISIL in the town of Emerli. Tens of thousands of Iraqis have already joined the fight against Takfiri militants after Ayatollah Sistani called on them to take up arms to protect their country. And to discuss that further, we're now joined by Rodney Shakespeare, who is a political commentator, joining us live now from London. Mr. Shakespeare, thanks very much for joining us now. How important do you think it is, this call coming out of Ayatollah Sistani? Once again, he's made this call a number of times for Iraqis to unite in the face of ISIL.
Well, of course, the Iraqis must unite. But the key issue is to address who is creating, financing and arming this terrorist threat. It's being done by the axis of evil. Number one is Saudi Arabia. That vicious ideology which says we are superior and we can cut the throats of anybody else who's not us is directly Saudi Wahhabism. And unless we control Saudi Arabia or overthrow that regime, there will be huge ideological and financial support coming into ISIS. Number two in the axis of evil, creating ISIS, is of course Israel, with the same arrogant, we are the top, they are racists and others are subhuman, and the use of force, that's Zionist Israel. And number three in the axis of evil is the USA, which is supplying the arms. And of course the sidekicks, the UK and Turkey. Iraq must do what it can, but the source is Saudi Arabia, Israel and the USA. They are the cause of the problem, and if we aren't prepared to address that, then ISIL will continue.
Mr. Shakespeare, going back to this issue of unity, many people say that the big plan for Iraq is a divided Iraq, as Joe Biden had said in 2006, I believe it was, and of course now is, in many people's eyes, is coming to fruition now, especially with the way the U.S. is supporting the Kurds, etc. How much of an obstacle do you think Iraqi unity would then be?
Well, it is Zionist policy to divide Iraq. I mean, I said it's Saudi Arabia, Israel and the United States. You can't get away with that. You must go to behind this and what is causing that. And it is Zionist policy to smash up any independent Middle East state which could provide an opposition to the expansion of Israel. And the Israeli flag has two lines. One of them is the Nile and the other is Euphrates. Israel wants to expand eventually into Iraq and down to the Nile. So this splitting up the Middle East states is part of Zionist policy. But you have to address Saudi Arabia, which introduced all the throat slitting and thinks it's funny, the Israelis, who use force and aggression all the time, and the USA, who've now waking up to the fact that they have created this monster. They're waking up now. They didn't raise a finger when tens of thousands of Iraqi Christians were having their throats slit. All those American Christian Zionists, they're not Christians, they are Zionists. And that's why they didn't, in fact, say anything.
I do apologize for interrupting, Mr. Shakespeare, just because of the shortage of time. Do you believe that it is too late for the likes of the United States or even Saudi Arabia to reel in this monster that they have created?
Well, they can start by stopping their support for it. They created it, and they must stop it. And that means overthrowing the regime in Saudi Arabia. It actually means overthrowing the regime in Israel. And as for the USA, we ought to do the same there, because they're all in it together.
Okay, fair enough. Well, on that point, we'll leave it there for now. But of course, as always, we do appreciate you taking your time out to speak to us. That was Rodney Shakespeare speaking to us live from London.